Okay, so we have hit record. This means I am calling this meeting of the Rauscher Farm Management Subcommittee meeting to order at 6:05. And we need to do a roll call announcement of ourselves. We are a quorum.
Dean Briggs present.
Alan Pratt.
Yeah, Gloria Parkinson.
I heard his lips move, so I think
Yes, okay, Jim's here.
I'm changing settings. I'm trying every setting I can think of.
Oh,
That's
it's
better.
getting louder.
That's better.
Okay. All right, we'll try that one then. All right.
Yeah, it's not as good as us, but it's enough. It's much better.
Well, I've changed the headset microphone, even though I'm not using a headset, so whatever.
Well, now you...
Okay.
Okay, all right. We can hear you. All right, so we've done our roll call. So now first of all, I'm sorry, I was very delayed. I sent the minutes out. Did you get an opportunity to look at them, or do we need to share?
Briefly.
So put your thumb, if you
I
have
had a
already
chance
read,
to review them.
you've reviewed them. Alan, have you had a chance or not?
Not carefully. No, I
No,
have not
okay.
had a chance.
So let me try and do a share.
Okay.
Okay. Which
Can
I'm
I
not very
make
good.
a motion that we accept them?
What?
Can I make a motion that we accept them?
Yeah, I think I need to put them up first.
Okay.
Let's put them up. Because and then you can make a motion and then someone can second it and then we will discuss. So share. Okay, I believe this is that. That's them. Now, can you see them, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I will have to scroll down as we go. So how about I allow you 2 minutes to read them and you tell me when to keep scrolling down. I keep going?
Yeah.
I'll keep going down.
Yes.
Oh, what's that? Sorry. Why is it not going down? Oh, what is it doing? Oh. It's suddenly gone into italics.
There we go.
Okay.
That's good.
I'll keep going.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Okay, Dean,
Yep.
would you like to make a motion?
I would. I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes.
The November 13 minutes,
I
shall we say?
second.
Okay. And that's EB, seconded by AP. Okay, any discussion?
Couple of things.
Yep.
Okay, so on the Roman numeral 3, number 1, line 2,
let me just go back up here.
Okay,
Oh, okay. Okay, under old business, yes, yes, which
okay,
one?
line 2, under members for dealing with down tree, I would make that down to ED at the end.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Different in language.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, okay. Okay,
And the other thing is down under number 8, volunteer and citizen scientist opportunities.
yep,
The second line where it says Advanced Math and Science Academy Charter School Academy of Math. I would take out Academy of Math if we're talking about the whole school, which is the Advanced Math and Science Academy. And it's a charter school. I don't know if charter school is part of its formal name or if its formal name is just Advanced Math and Science Academy. But in any case, I would take out Academy of Math at the end there.
okay, Advanced Math and Science Academy, okay. And delete charter school.
Yeah, well, I'd leave Advanced Math and Science Academy.
Yeah,
You could leave or take out charter school because that's what it is. I don't know if
yeah,
it's.
no, I think you're right. I think it's,
it-
because that answer is what it's
Yeah, I
known
just take
as.
out Academy of Math in any case.
Okay, you have to get Academy out too. Advanced Math and Science Academy, that's it.
Perfect. Yep. That's
Okay.
that's what I had.
Okay, anything else from anybody? And then I'll need an amended motion, Dean.
I would like to
Yeah, but let me
make a
see.
motion.
Let's first see if let's see if anyone else wants to make any amendments on it. And then I'll
Not
say go.
Nothing from me.
No. Okay, now what?
Yeah,
Now
nothing.
you go, Dean.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to accept the minutes subject to the amendments previously discussed.
Subject to. Okay. Okay. If everyone's happy on that, we will have a vote and it will be a roll call vote.
You need a second?
Oh, yes, I do. I need a
Okay,
second
okay.
on Alan
I'll
again.
second.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yep.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor, and this is again, you say aye and you say your name. Off you go.
Dean, aye.
Gloria Parkinson, aye.
Alan, I.
And Jim, are you speaking?
Yes, I said Jim Webster, I.
Oh, I hear you now. I hear you now. Sorry. Okay. So now I stop share. Okay, good.
There we go.
Now, how about all the discussion update things? Did you get a chance to look at them? They went out earlier. That went out earlier in the day. Did you get that? Did you get that? Alan, did you get it?
I've been gone all day, I must admit.
Oh, okay. So I need to share
Just
that then.
recently arrived home and I checked my
Okay.
email, but I didn't scroll down far enough, I don't think.
Okay. No problem. Now
So
I have to get into, okay, now let me get out of, give me a minute, everyone. There you go. Okay, that gets rid of that. Now I have to get rid of, I have to open up. Okay, discussion documents. Okay, we're in 12.
I think I had got 2 copies of the agenda. I'm not sure I received it says discussion document, but it's actually the agenda attached to the your email of 407.
Which is what I also have.
Well, I'm now going to share it anyway, so I believe I'm sharing this now. Wait a minute. Okay, let me. I was in a very big rush today too. Yeah. There you go. Okay, everyone see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so now let's go back to the agenda. So we do things. But while I'm at it, I did send you this today, which is an updated, it's referenced in the discussion. Right, this was the double-sided one. We've updated it, and it now has on the second side pretty much everything that's going to happen in 2025. All right, so you've got your own copies of that. And obviously it gets tweaked a bit as the year goes, because this will go out on social media. Okay, so to discussion. All right, so just a review of, let me stay with my, okay. All the good things that you guys did. So under adaptive land management, on the agenda, trails and equipment maintenance, etc., which I know there will be an update in a minute, but so the Clamshell Pond Trail story walk is going to be taken down, and this will be Jim and Dean, I believe, on Monday. Correct, Armando? Yep.
Alan, if you're around and want to come also, but we also have to watch the weather. Right now it's showing rain Monday, but I don't really trust that far
Okay.
out.
Again, you're virtually impossible to hear.
I don't know what to say. I can try, maybe if I try disconnecting I don't know what. I'll try changing. I don't know what to
Okay.
say.
Suddenly you
I-
came on that then, whatever you're doing.
I'm leaning forward. I don't know what else, but
Is there a Bluetooth device that has a microphone on it that's connected to your system?
I have a Bluetooth speaker connected, but not a Bluetooth microphone. So I'm going to disconnect my Bluetooth speaker.
If you talk very close to the microphone as you are now, that makes a big difference. Okay. So you were saying, but the Bluebird boxes, right? And they still have.
Right now, Dean and I have agreed to meet on Monday, and if you're around and Alan, fine, but we have to watch the weather. And
Yeah.
right now it's showing rain for Monday, which could change. And that is first and foremost to take down the story walk. If time and energy permits, we can also clear the Bluebird boxes. But then if need be, I could always go back and do those on my own.
And I can help you.
What time are you planning to meet, John?
Dean, what does it say,
Dean.
1 o'clock,
I think it's one to, I have on my calendar 1 to 3:30, I think.
Okay.
Okay, if I can make it, I will, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm thinking, when you do the story walk, if there is any more time or manpower, we'll do the boxes, and if not, we'll do the boxes another time.
Yeah, I have to
Okay.
go back anyway to deal with cameras and whatever, so it's easy enough to do those, if I'm up there. But
Yeah, okay. All right. So Monday, okay. Let's talk about equipment maintenance. We had the glorious time last month when there was everything was fine, but then all the cables went, right? Whatever.
right
At
now,
least one did.
One cable it left you. What, Alan?
Yeah.
That left you stranded on the hill opposite. Where were you?
I was down in the little field as you're walking down toward the park, the pollinator garden. If the pollinator garden's on the left, that little field on the right,
Okay.
which I mowed last year, I think, and I mowed most of it this year until the cable broke. I was stuck in reverse, so I just ran the thing in reverse back to the barn. It wasn't too bad.
All right.
I'm just happy I got most of the field done. Yeah.
It gives a whole different interpretation to eyes in the back of your head, though, doesn't it?
but not the first time that's happened with one piece of equipment or another. I have ordered replacement cables. That shifter takes two cables, the same cable, two of them. One is broken, so we should replace them both. I've ordered 3, so we have 2 to replace and 1 spare. And the one that's not broken will also keep as a spare, just so we have backup.
Okay, so 3 ordered, 2 to be replaced, and a spare. That equals.
And when it comes to replace those, if you're around Alan and or Dean, I've done it once before. I can't remember quite. It's fussy. You have to get hands underneath. Have to wear rubber gloves because there's poison ivy all over the bottom, that machine. And then sort of by feel have to hook them in. But while we're doing that, I can show you where the little lever is and how you can reach under and manually twist it if you get stuck with a broken cable to get yourself back in gear just to get back to the barn.
That'd be good to know, yeah.
Sure.
Like that.
Okay, so I'm moving along. Still up, the trails. Just to let you know that Sam Bell has been paid and has acknowledged his payment for his annual conservation mow. So that's just for the record. Now also in this whole section is the removal of the rusty fences, etc. Okay. So this has been ongoing since the last meeting, so it disappeared in the rusty fence removal that was on all that stuff, the trash that was piled up by the barn. The DPW moved it in 2 batches. So it went, and then Dave Notaro told me when he also saw the second batch going, right? So it has all theoretically been removed. Dave suggested maybe going over the area with a metal detector to find any small pieces. I'm thinking about, does this mean stuck in equipment, like in tires? Is that all dangerous? So, but Dave doesn't seem to be here tonight, so I can't ask him. But shall I follow up on that with Dave?
Yeah, Dave has a metal detector, and if he's willing to do it, that would be a good thing to do.
Right. Okay. So I will follow up on that. Okay. So GP to follow up with Dave. Okay. All right. All right. So the farmhouse, yes, the DPW has winterized the farmhouse, and it's the same person who works for the DPW who was very familiar with it. He's done it a couple of times now, Ben. So that's taken care of, and we're still researching the history on the building. Haven't had a chance to talk to Mark Steele yet, which was one of the suggestions in the minutes. Okay, the next thing in the agenda is the climate resiliency project. So there's no real update on this. The wetlands, as we know, is not going to happen until the wetlands foliage starts to appear in May of 2025. Ry Patton, the forester, contacted me to say he was close to finishing his report. Unfortunately, he's now not available for the January the 11th presentation in the barn, but has agreed to, brief me and send me stuff and pictures. With that in mind, I'm going to, with your permission, slightly change the wording of that event, because he has the authority to make suggestions for home landscapes. I don't. If I'm going to present on behalf of us, so it will be presented, me presenting in the barn on behalf of the Rauscher Farm Management Subcommittee and talking about how the plan now incorporates climate adaptability. And then I might throw in some sort of phrase about, some of this may be helpful, some of it may be helpful for home landscape, but without saying this is what to do. And I think it's important to make that distinction. So what do you guys think?
What distinction are you talking about making, Gloria?
Well, I'll present on behalf of us for the
Sure.
event, right?
Yeah.
But I will not be telling people, I'll be telling them what Ry Patton says is in the report. I will not be speaking as us, saying to anyone who's there for ideas about their own landscaping. I will not be there as an authority saying, do this to them.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be nuanced more into, perhaps you might find this interesting for your home landscapes, but it will be nuanced to what's in the report versus us presenting ourselves as authorities. It's a subtle but important distinction. We're not setting ourselves up as experts.
Right. That makes sense, what you just explained.
Yeah.
Can ask about power, because Ryan, when he was gonna do it, wanted to have electricity. And I said, I can bring our camp generator, which I tested it 2 weeks ago and it was able to
Yeah.
start. But if you're gonna be doing the presentation, I assume with a laptop, do we really need a generator as opposed to just a laptop and maybe a backup battery?
Well, you might know that more than me. How long would the backup batteries last if they're showing, say, photographs? I mean,
Well, your computer itself should run for an hour or more at least on power. Longer than that if you're just writing. I don't know if you're showing photographs.
okay. And then
And
we
then
had,
we have several backup batteries, or you can, plug in one of those. Just for the
yeah,
extra
okay.
power.
No, and that would mean no noise too.
It's not running a loud noisy generator
Yes.
outside the barn and
Yes.
having to be careful to divert fumes because you don't have electricity otherwise.
And we've got those big batteries for camping, right?
That's what I mean, and we have 3 of those at least. So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Not the generator, but all the backup batteries with my laptop.
Right, but we just
Okay,
plug one of those in to start with, so you'll have a full charge on your laptop, you'll have a full charge battery attached. You'll have a couple of batteries in spare that you couldn't ever need to
right.
get to. Have to-
And remember, there is electricity in the farmhouse if we wanted to make sure the battery stayed fully charged too.
Well, we have to run, a long extension cord across the road.
No, I don't mean that we would run it across, and I mean, just to make sure the batteries, if we thought that it was gobbled up for any reason, we have a fallback
No,
of
no,
plugging
no.
one in and then pulling it out
no,
and
no, no,
putting it.
we will bring at least 3 backup charge
Okay,
batteries.
all
to
right.
charge. That
Yeah, I
would get
think
us
that would be a much better, that would be a good idea.
that would get us through many hours, I mean.
Okay. Okay. All right, so presentation with batteries. Not generator. Okay, let me just make this. All right. Not generator. Okay. All right. Okay, so going back to, so the report is, I think it's basically finished, but I'll check with him again because he has been, calling me. He is very responsive. All right, so moving along, galloping along like a herd of turtles. Right. Okay, electricity in the barn, right? This is obviously not a fast project. So Brian Farragher is still awaiting a formal written quote from the electrician who was up there to scope the job out, right? That was has previously been reported. I think I've given you the name of the wrong electrician. I called the company DieRock, but I think I have to double check with Brian. That might have been DH. So DHL electricians or something. But now Brian, when I checked in with Brian, he thinks we have to have another quote, not just one quote. So before going to the town administrator. So again, this will need, because on our behalf, I haven't heard. So I will again ask for an update, like this week. Okay, I'll send an email. All right. Yes. Saying has the written quote from the first electrician been received? And if so, what is it? And where now for a second quote? Yes. Do I have your
Yes.
blessing to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to do check update with Brian. All right. Okay. As I say, I haven't managed to bump into Mark Steele. But I might try and call him on the phone and see if I can do it that way. Otherwise, you miss him when he goes up and down the road. All right. So there is no update on things like the pollinator nursery garden, nor the loosestrife, because now we're into winter and we don't see it, right? There's nothing to see right now. So we cross our fingers and hope. We do have permission to do another year of beetles, so we will do that. Permission from the Conservation Commission to buy the beetles, that is. Okay. So that's covered meadow invasive control. Okay, now on the agenda, number 7, in universal access path to Clamshell Pond. I
Can you
think you.
scroll up a bit, Gloria?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Or
Okay,
Great.
we're here on 6 on the discussion document, but it's slightly out of order.
maybe it's
I'm
just my
following.
lap.
Yeah, I'm following the published agenda
Okay.
order, everyone.
There we go.
Um,
Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so the issue with when the NOI, Notice of Intent hearing, was officially closed by the Conservation Commission in November a year ago, on our behalf, I immediately sent the design and everything to the chair of the town's permanent building committee, which was Chris McGowan, in a sort of hope that because he was retiring, but not until the end of January, it might have got on to the permanent building committee's agenda. Well, and I understand that no one was really thinking about Rauscher Farm at that moment because it was a major transition, right? For the director of the DPW then for Kevin Bartlett to come in as the supervisor of the DPW. And unfortunately, Chris McGowan and Brian Farragut had been very supportive of this project and had actually met in person with us and looked at the designs when there was people. This is, going back a couple of years, and said, "No, it's fine. Just come when you're ready," right? Well, unfortunately, everything then sort of sat. So in Feb, I couldn't do anything in that January when I knew that there was this whole big transition going on. No one would pay attention. But in February, I did start a whole sequence of the emails of which I kept pumping them out to you, that whole series of 3 that had all of the background information. And then I would bump into Brian and say, "Okay, Brian, so, the tricky part is that the permanent building committee, you don't know when its meetings are. They're not posted. And so after sending several batches of the emails, etc., over the February and in July, at the suggestion of Brian Farragut, I sent them to Mike Ward, because after all, he's also the procurement officer of the town. So I did the whole thing, several times over. Okay, so you can get, and then I, in person, said, "I sent these to you, please keep me in the information loop." Well, then I heard nothing on our behalf. So we're now in July. Informally at Old Home Day, I heard from Chris McGowan, who is still the chair of that committee, even though he is no longer employed by the town. I heard that it was Kevin Bartlett had thought he had someone who could be the independent contractor. Well, on behalf of the town, an independent contractor would do all the big bid specs and also then, shepherd the whole project through. And so that was in September. And then I had to wait a bit. Anyway, I heard nothing. So that's when I reached out back again to Kevin Bartlett by email and didn't immediately hear anything. So then I turned up on that Friday, which is the sequence of events I'm describing here. So I turned up on 11/29, and Kevin was very helpful, but he looked in on his email and showed me an email sent in August to Bethany Ordung of Harley Ward. And he said, oh, I'll send, I haven't heard back, he said, this is from the August email. So he immediately, while I was there, sent it again and copied me. So I'm now copied on this. And she immediately replied on the Friday saying she hadn't seen the August one. So that was the Friday. So she would like, was interested and wanted to know more. So over that weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I put together yet another iteration of all those sequences of emails, and etc. Anyway, long story short, the following Tuesday, I met with her on Rauscher Farm. Then she said, well, what happens now? Who do I talk to? And I said, well, I suggest you talk to the town administrator, who's also the procurement officer, who at least will give you either he's the right person to talk to about you doing this or not doing it, and if you're still interested in doing it, because I don't know if she's still interested in it. So I said, but he is the person, he's the voice piece for the town. So I immediately sent that email, which again I shared with you, right? So that's where we are. I don't know anymore, and I wanted to fill you in on this so far. So the next thing I would suggest, if you think this is a good idea, is that we once again reach out to Mike Ward, because again, in that email, I said, I'm looking, on behalf of us, looking for an update of the progress. So I think we should do that again. That's my suggestion as the chair to you, but it's your choice. Do you think we should go back and keep prodding Mike Ward, because there's no one else and there's no time of the meeting, so it's so keep prodding Mike Ward.
I say keep prodding, and thank you for doing that.
Now there's one. Yes, okay. Because
I agree. I
yeah.
asked, do we need to, is there anybody on the select board who needs to be aware of this project to support this? Are we the only ones who need to be approaching Mike Ward?
Well,
or do we
no.
need the assistance of others?
There is a member of the select board on the Conservation Commission, because they're shorter people. And I would suggest that when I find out again, because I don't know when the next Conservation Commission meeting is, I would take all of this information and in the next, and as you know, we write a monthly report for Conscom, right? So this project has been constantly in the materials I've sent over, saying have not yet heard back, have not yet heard back. So now this is what's happened, because all of this has happened after the November Conscom meeting. But now it will go into our report to Conscom for this month. And we also keep asking Mike Ward for updates, because we don't know at all if this, this woman who is obviously an engineer has said she wants to do it or not, because there is the issue of funding. And I don't want to jump the gun and spread concerns when there may not be concerns, but there is a fixed budget for this project. And that fixed budget was agreed of 144,589 and 39 cents. And that's what was agreed at a town meeting 2 years ago. It was an article, because the money comes from the original bond money for Rauscher Farm that apparently has been sitting there since 2008 until I found out about it from the town accountant. And then there was an article fashioned, because the town attorney said we can't just take the original article for the borrowing of the big bond, but we'd have to refashion it. So that article was very specific, that said this remaining money would only be used for ADA accessibility projects on Rauscher Farm. So the money is there, no question. The question I don't know yet, no one knows, is if bringing in, you know, an independent contractor, that person's fee plus the construction costs, if there is still sufficient money. And that's what I would like to take to Mike Ward with now. I'd like to start raising that question. If it is not sufficient because of this, whatever this contractor, you know, this woman I spoke with and met on Rauscher Farm, if her fee, you know, takes up whatever amount of money, I would like to be open the conversation, the dialogue right now with the town about, so what happens then? Because that conversation should be broached very early in this process.
So
I
how many
believe.
times have you reached, how many times have you reached out to Mike Ward on this matter, and how many times has he responded to you on this?
Well, I sent it out originally in July, and then I've had passing conversations. Let me know. Oh yes, let me know. But no one. There's no information coming out either. I would attend the permanent building committee meeting if I knew when it was and if it was an open meeting on our behalf. It's somewhat disconcerting. So I think there needs to be more noise made on our behalf, us to make more noise. And I am definitely going to light the fire for the Conservation Commission and the member of the select board member who serves on that Conservation Commission now, this month.
I'm concerned that this has been dragging so long that the funds will be insufficient as the project costs will have increased.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That is what I'm
Right.
saying, Dean. Yeah.
Right.
So, and then what? Because those funds can't be spent on anything else. And the bond agents are constantly, I know this because I had it from other select board chairs, want to close out any dangling cash from bonds,
Is there some way that we can support you around your efforts to get this prioritized in the right places?
Yes, by authorizing me to do this on our behalf very forcefully. Has to go to the Conservation Commission in 2 weeks, and it has to go to Mike Ward.
I appreciate your creating a sense of urgency with the Conservation Commission, because I think having it in the documents has not worked in terms of getting their attention. So it sounds like it needs to be more of a focus. I know they're all busy people and you've got a lot of volunteers in the mix. And so I'm not sure what helps maintain focus on this topic, but I'm just concerned about this.
I would like to say then, if you would concur with Dean, Alan, and Jim, the Rauscher Farm Management Subcommittee is extremely concerned about this matter.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Because it does have financial repercussions. This degree of delay has financial repercussions. Is that, Jean, am I paraphrasing you? Yeah.
I agree that you've reflected that adequately.
Yeah. Okay. So this is obviously going to happen in the next couple of weeks, this push. Again. Then keep at it.
Thank you, Gloria, for your persistence.
Well, thank you, because you're the ones who, you keep telling me to push, so I'm just doing what you say. Okay. But it is concerning, and the funding is very concerning. All right. So shall we, with that, because this is the most timely piece of business on our agenda right now. So onward, right? We push for it. And, one of the things I do know, and we have to appreciate, is the town has not filled the assistant town administrator's vacancy yet. And, there's a trickle-down effect to that Mike Ward has no backup at the moment. So, but this has to be done. Okay. All right. So, okay, volunteer citizen. Well, okay, what's the volunteer stuff? Okay. All right. So I haven't heard back from the Advanced Math Science Academy. Forget the Charter School Academy. Okay, thank you, Dean. So the timing of this is I will reach out back to the contact before the school closes for the Christmas vacation in the hopes of getting some attention in the next semester. I mean, I think I don't want to wait until after the new year because, I'd like to just sort of do another prod and say, because it seemed like there was a lot of interest. And then, of course, I understand, what happens. So to start getting back on someone's radar again. And there is still the meeting to happen with the Clinton High School faculty member who is part of the STEM team too. But that definitely has to wait until the end of the semester. She has, asked me not. She has enough on her plate until the semester's done. So, so one I will do ahead of time, like in the next week, again on our behalf, and then wait until the end of the semester for the Clinton High School. Does that make sense, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
It's all a question of timing, isn't it? Okay, so
Yeah, a lot of folks are trying to wrap up stuff. I've discovered a lot of people are trying to wrap up stuff here at the end of the year. And they've also, trying to get ready for the holidays and so on. So it's difficult to get people's attention right now, I'm finding.
It is. And understandably, we'll do what we can. Okay. Communication and outreach. Okay, I mentioned earlier the updated. This is now also being relayed out with Christine. It's now being relayed out, not as for print, but for social media too, which is I mean, it looks basically the same, but it's a slightly different, dimensions and everything else. So that's already in the works. Okay.
He's done a beautiful job with it too.
This is, Christine is just extremely talented. So this version is still, she and I are conferring this week again. I've asked, to slightly as I mentioned earlier, I won't go back on it, but just rewording the Into the Woods copy. So it doesn't, so we don't set ourselves up as authorities when we're not authorities. Okay. And the flyer is there's already a draft of this, and there's already a draft of the event flyer, and there's a rough draft of the winter sew flyer already, already being worked on. And there's already a draft of the nature as imagination, where the wording itself has some sort of logo-like font, but not a separate font that sticks out, because real estate is so tight in these projects, on the promo materials. But somehow nature as imagination is capturing nature and the sense of imagination being free-flowing. So that's also in the works. That's also being worked on this week. And also all of the Instagram refurbishing of, again, the layouts for that. So because I've not really followed up with Instagram these last few months when I knew that this had to be redone. And the deadline for this had been when CGCT suddenly said, which was unexpected, but I get it, they wanted to send out the year-end letter before Thanksgiving. So that pushed the print deadline on this. It actually went out just after but it was very close. Okay.
I think the
So-
choice of a monarch butterfly is good one and timely. The Fish and Wildlife Service is getting ready to declare the monarch an endangered species.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what the timing is. They've certainly put that out for discussion or comment. So I don't know what its viability is as a proposal, but that's out there now.
Okay, can you keep your eyes on that, Dean?
Sure.
Are you getting emails about it?
No, I heard a story on NPR about it.
It was
Oh.
in the Globe. It was in the Boston Globe, either today or yesterday also.
Oh, okay. Well, if Alan, are you doing the Boston Globe online? Do you have a link or not?
I do, yeah. I
You-
subscribe. I
Yes,
subscribe to it so I could get the article and
we have
send it or.
We subscribe too. So is it,
long look for the article, but today in today's Globe, I'll have to look for it, but today or yesterday, search for it.
so,
Yeah,
so
it
why don't,
wasn't earlier than yesterday. It was either yesterday or today. Yeah.
so I'll tell
And
you
I
what.
haven't looked at the Globe today. I've been looking at the
Okay.
Times and whatever.
So I'll tell you what though, because Alan, I know you have a lot on your plate right now. Let Jim look for his subscription, right? And then oh,
Oh, wait a minute.
There's,
What is
I
that
just
was right from Fish
press
and
release
Wildlife.
from
Great.
Fish and Wildlife in the chat.
oh,
Great.
okay. That was you.
got
Okay.
it, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. What have I got here?
I don't want
Another-
to, I don't want to derail the meeting. I just wanted to make that parenthetical note and that's something that folks can look at their
Oh,
leisure.
Dave was here, but I didn't see him because I was sharing. Poor Dave. Okay.
Oh, I see. It's still showing 5 participants.
Yes,
Dave-
because because Dave wasn't there when I started sharing
Sure.
and then I couldn't see. So we'll have to grovel when he comes in.
He's
Yeah, I
in
can-
now. I see him.
You say- Oh, no, okay. Now I have to grovel, Dave.
No, I have to grovel.
Oh, well, should we grovel together at the same time?
Apologies, everybody.
Well, we
Good day.
did, yeah, okay, we understand. We had a quorum, so we started. But
Great.
then because I'm sharing screen, I
Mhm.
couldn't see I couldn't see the stuff that said, oh, you've arrived.
No,
So,
quite all right.
so welcome, okay. Basically, the major timing thing here is we are going to get very pushy about the path to Clamshell Pond.
Mhm.
Okay, which is in the discussion document, right? And we're going to get pushy by the report that, we do once a month for the Conservation Commission, where it's always been mentioned, but now it's going to be the major topic I'm going to put it right up at the top, high priority.
Mhm.
Because the concern here is no one gives any information about it to us, and we don't know if this person I met with on Rauscher Farm will or will not be the person who the town, brings in as an independent contractor for the project. And we also don't know if that happens, how much that particular company would want, and therefore how does that affect what we know is a fixed budget of 144. Okay, 500. So it's those are the balls, right? So we're going to push for it in the next couple of weeks because there is a member of the select board on the Conservation Commission to be able to, and we are going to push with Mike Ward too. Okay, because there's no posting of when these meetings are, the permanent building committee, and maybe they're fine, they don't have to, but I've been asking for updates on our information on keeping us in the info loop, and that has not happened. So, anyway, you got the drift though, Dave.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
So, okay. Where am I up to now? Okay. Yep. We
RS
did the
usage
vol-
violation?
What?
Are you up to, you asked where you were up to, and I said, is it RF usage violations?
Yeah, because I've just done, yes, because I've just done communication and outreach, right? I did that.
Yep.
Yep. And if anyone else has thoughts on communication and outreach? No, we're still jumping up and down. Oh, Dave, wanted to ask you though, what now that you're in, right?
Mhm.
We talked about the metal detector
Yeah,
in the area where the fencing was.
yes.
Okay, so are you willing to take your metal detector there and do it? And do you need people with you?
Well, I don't need people with me. The thing is, the metal detector, it would go bananas, and I would much rather use a magnet.
Oh,
Because there,
okay.
a magnet will be much more effective. Now, I was thinking, I'm trying to think if I know anybody who's a roofer, because usually roofers will have them, the big usually roller type magnets. I do have something that's handheld, that's kind of short that I can use. I'll take care of it. So don't.
Okay.
Um,
So everyone, it's a magnet, not a metal detector
yeah,
approach.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was piled beyond the area where people park, but things dragging stuff in and out might have been, dropped along the way. So.
Yeah, and the concern is, piercing people's tires
yeah, yeah,
because it's a parking, or even our feet, right? So
yeah,
it's a public necessity, I would say,
yeah,
right, Dave?
yeah. I did go down there after they picked up all the metal. I did go
Yeah,
down again, and I picked up any little bits of metal that I found. It was mostly pieces of um, the fencing, and
Yeah.
usually just short pieces. Whatever
yeah,
I found, I picked up and I put onto the pile of the non-ferrous trash, whatever you want to
yeah,
call
yeah,
it there. I'm sure there's still a bunch more, but all the stuff that I found was down low there. So I think what they did was they backed the truck up pretty close to where they
yeah.
were piling it. I didn't see them, but because I didn't find any in the parking area itself, doesn't mean there's
Okay,
none there. But I think they did, I think they did an okay job of containing. There was a lot of very small pieces that, would easily drop.
okay.
And
So we're just going to do an obsessive second pass.
yeah,
Dave, did they also take away those old rotten pallets that we pile things on?
that's what I was referring to, Jim. You know what? I haven't checked since then because in the morning when I walk by, it's dark out, so I don't tend to look
Yeah,
over there. What I try to do is go by later on in the afternoon, but the last couple days have been rainy, so I haven't been
yeah,
outside a whole lot. Yeah, but I'll get over there.
yeah. And I think,
Weather permitting, Dean and I and Alan will be up there on Monday to
Yeah,
take down the story walk so you can look them too.
yeah,
yeah. And being fair, I think, they have different entities that pick up different stuff, right?
right, right.
Okay. All right. But if we can get this done before I'm worried, if it gets buried in the snow and then gets churned up again when the snow is removed, that's,
Yeah.
we may not have snow, of course, but
Well, if it gets buried in the snow, though, I think that's down far enough away from where anybody goes.
goes.
Really,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I think that was I think the where we placed everything was probably the best place we could have put it to be out of
Yeah.
people's way.
Yeah.
Um, but
Okay.
the next couple of days, assuming it's not, raining like it has been today, I'll get over there and see what I can get
Okay.
done.
Smashing. Okay. Smashing. Thanks a lot, Dave. Oh, we're glad you're here right now. Okay. So galloping along like a herd of turtles, though, we are in fact up to violations. Any violations that people have seen?
I haven't. It's been oddly kind of quiet from where I sit. I haven't seen a whole lot of. I see people drive by. The trouble is, I see people drive by my house,
Yeah.
but barring being like Mrs. Kravitz from Bewitched, where you're kind of watching every little thing that goes on. I would have to kind of go up and around the corner, and I'm not. I get a lot of exercise doing that because there's so many people, and a lot of them, a lot of times they're for to come up to Dennis's garage, or there has been a fair amount of people still that are going out there on the water, believe it or not,
Yeah,
on me, but hey, man, whatever floats your boat, pun intended.
yes, that's
I
a
have
good one.
I have seen a lot of
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say a lot, but a fairly steady amount of cars going by
okay,
each
yeah,
day, one or two here and there, with, I think they usually have canoes in the back.
yeah. Well, I
So,
think, the weather has been,
yeah,
so, I mean,
I mean,
Yes,
I'm certainly glad they're making use of it because make use of it for as long as we can.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
until the ice gets there, but boy, oh boy, you couldn't catch me out in the, not in this cold.
I was pretty much all over the last 3 weeks on 2 different occasions, taking care of wildlife cameras, and I
Mhm.
didn't see anything in the way of fire tracks or anything like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
far, so as we know, no violations. Okay.
And if snow comes, we should probably keep our eyes open, because suddenly, you get a
That's
couple of
when you
inches
see
of
them. Yeah, that's when you see the
Yeah.
snowmobiles and things. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, keeping moving, everyone. Again, I'm going to grovel to Dave on the drone policy, which I have not looked at. And this is like a first, but Dave did a whole thing. I was going to do a second pass, and then it was going to come to all of us, right? And then from there it would go to the Conservation Commission. And so I really, really need myself to get my own act together.
Now, you
Right?
did get the second, my second version of it, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and I can either briefly tell you now the changes that I made, or you and I can go over it together, whichever you prefer.
I think let's you and me go over it together,
Yep,
backwards and
okay,
forwards, but
yep,
let's try and do that before we get to our January meeting,
okay,
so that we're here, and then because from that it can go a couple of weeks later to the conservation. So by the end of January it can be in place.
okay,
And we need to really do that
okay.
because of the photography stuff, right?
All right, yeah, so let you and I touch base outside of this meeting, and we'll figure out a time that works for both of us, and
Yes, we'll swap documents back and forth.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And then present to you folks. All right, smashing. Um, okay. So I haven't had any permission requests coming in, and I mean, they usually, if they come in via the Conservation Commission. So nothing's been forwarded to us at this point in time. I keep putting the 2025 programs on the agenda because we keep slightly tweaking them, as we get a bit more information.
Can you scroll down a little bit,
Oh,
Gloria?
sorry. Yep. Okay, I'm up to. Okay.
Great, perfect,
Okay.
thank you.
The other thing, Dave, you missed is that Rye Patton, the forester, can't do the presentation in January, so I am going to do it on our behalf
Mhm,
at the Rauscher Farm to talk about the updated plan.
mhm.
And I'm going to slightly reword it. I said earlier in this meeting, because we're not authorities. So I would like to not make it look like we are telling other people what to do, right? But we can say something. I'm in communication with Christine Latini a lot every day. Something like, this is the climate adaptability part, and perhaps there may be ideas. Perhaps there may be ideas for homeowners.
Mhm.
In other words, we want people to, if they're interested, to come, but not say we are the experts, because that's the thing we never do. We always go elsewhere.
Mhm.
So, okay, so it's a slightly nuanced copy that is going to go, even though you've got it from here, because this had to go to Dunn and Company before Thanksgiving. And it'll be tweaked. Okay. And that's it for today that I have. Am I missing anything, everybody?
I would just like to add, probably should have come up earlier, it's not really a topic, but because I have access to wildlife cameras, I've been watching, and everything was so dry. That stream that's between our grassland and the rail trail, the rail bed, that was totally dry, has got water in it again. It's probably not as deep as it was, and it's now frozen over. And with all the rain we've had today, hopefully that will be back to being a year-round stream. We have had, that's probably the most active area we have for wildlife right now. I mean, from what's on the cameras, because there are so many critters that live in and around that stream and come and go. We've got coyotes and foxes and a whole family of raccoons and opossums and weasels and otters and so on. They're all, it's amazing how much goes through that space. And even without the water, when it was dried up, the raccoons were still around. I'm not quite sure what they were, living on. They're commuting to the Beagle Pond out back or something. But, and just the other day, I saw our resident bobcat was there again, walking on the frozen ice. So she's still around.
Wow.
So, I'm just saying that area right now, I'm glad the water's back, because that is like the crossroads of so much happening.
You're talking about that little strip of land. Well, I don't know if we want to describe it on video here, but it's the one that had the log over it. We saw animals walking back and forth on,
correct.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
It's like at the foot of the embankment.
Yeah. And there's actually two logs that are within, in fact, when next time I see the camera, I'm going to realign it a little bit, but there's actually two logs. So they cross both of those logs, and sometimes they'll go out on one and come back on the other. So there's like and the fact that we have the coyotes and the foxes and all the rest all sort of sharing the space, somehow they time share or whatever. I mean, they,
So
everybody, I don't think they get along, and we happen to have different schedules.
Yeah. So if you, Alan, you weren't on, you hadn't joined us, but we did do a program. There's a woman that sets up all of these nature camps. She does it for Sudbury Valley Trust, and she runs about 30 or 40 or 50 of these, right? And we did do a program. She did a program for us, one of our recreational programs. And so she was the one that said things like what Jim just described, these fallen trees or logs going over something. These are like the super highways. And also the remains of the stone walls as well. So they'll all trit across at different times. So as all those things are really important in Rauscher Farm. That anything that looks like it's like a bridge across somewhere, or a piece that gives a slightly higher perspective for the creature that's on the top of it. So she taught us how to do that.
Which is also not just for the camera thing, but that huge tree that we was too big for us to cut. We cleared a path around it. We're going to just watch that one slowly decay over the next 10 years. But that itself will become this active ecosystem for all kinds of things. But we're keeping an eye on that just when we're up there to see what's going on there. I mean, I'm sure there'll be insects and woodpeckers and all that kind of stuff that goes on. But all of these things that just collapse and fall are basically, a huge part of the habitat. And the one other thing right now, cameras. I have one camera that's in our second best location, and twice in a row, swapped the card, put fresh batteries in it, and within 3 weeks stopped working again. And I just brought that, the camera's on my desk right now. I brought it back. I can't find anything wrong with it. The batteries are good, etc. I swapped it for another camera because that is like our second prime location where there is so much activity. That's what it's that path that goes between Dead Pig Field down into the woods, and it's become like a funneling point for all the critters that come and go through there. So I've swapped it for what I hope is a more reliable camera. This one that I can't find anything wrong with, I'm going to mount it someplace closer to the road or the farmhouse where I keep an eye on it. Because it seems to be either something intermittent or maybe it's fine now. I mean, I've, take it and bang it on the head and can't find anything to make it fail. So I'll put it back out and see what happens. But I don't want that one up in that sort of remote area where in the wintertime it'd be really hard to get at.
Oh, there is something, I know this is kind of out of order, but because of my tardiness, the tree that fell across kind of beside between my house and Deb's house, I did take care of most of that, as I'm sure you see when you drive by. So anything that was outside of the fence near the road, I got all that out of
Yeah.
there. The stuff that's inside the fence, I cut up the that punky rotted tree somewhat and moved those logs into that wooded area, kind of that little
Yeah.
island.
Know what
I
you mean.
didn't finish it because I'm starting to get some muscle issues that kind of prevented me from doing that. But it's I think it's pretty good right now. It's like I say, there's a section there that's probably, I don't know, 10 feet long or something like that, eight
Okay.
feet long that needs to be cut up more, but it's not bothering anything. So, it's partially done.
Okay,
Not all.
thanks, Dave. Yeah, thank
As long as
you.
it's not affecting the road, we're good, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, especially, when we're not going to be, I say we, this is like the royal we, it's you guys are the ones that do the heavy lifting, in spite of Dave saying he's losing his muscles. But I mean, you're up there so much during the growing season, that you see this stuff literally as it happens.
Yeah,
And when we're not, when we're not doing that for the next 2 or 3 months, we still have to remember to keep our eyes peeled,
right.
because stuff will come down over the winter, whether we have a lot of
Yeah.
snow or not. Like today, the wind and the rain. I mean, and the only way we know that is when we literally bump into it. And I know, Alan, you're very good at spotting this because you do a lot of walking up there. So thank you. But so any of us up there needs to, just keep our eyes open, because once it comes down, if it's across something,
Yeah.
it's a safety issue or
I'll tell you, the way that thing fell was kind of a blessing because I figured it would have taken out the fence and, gone
oh,
into the road and everything. And it was almost like the thing came down, broke, and right where the break was, part
yeah.
of it went over the fence and the other part stayed on the inside. It was almost like there was a force field there on the edge of the fence that kept it from getting ruined, and
Yeah.
it didn't even block anything in the road. It was kind of on the edge of the road, but it didn't, you know what
It's
I mean?
woodland magic. Woodland
Yeah,
magic,
I
Dave.
think
Uh,
so. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a force field. I mean, you might have discovered something.
Right, huh?
That would be a great fundraiser. Come to Clinton and see the famous force field. Say that very fast several times. Famous force. Anyway,
On your way to the haunted tunnel.
Yeah, right.
I think, well, that's okay. Are you happy, Dave? You got everything covered that you
Yep,
wanted
yep.
to do. Alan, you're good. We don't want to, we know
Yeah,
you're very committed at the moment, but okay. So,
I'm good. Yeah,
Jim is, and thank you to Alan, Dean, and Jim for doing the story. One of the boards is already down, the one that crosses over the wetland area, by the way, which I saw that when I was up there with Bethany Ordon a few days ago. But I didn't pick it up because otherwise even if it's on the ground, it still showed you the way to the story walk,
And the only issue is, if it's raining on Monday, even if it's a little rain, we probably couldn't do it because then we have all the wet boards to store and we'd have to take them back and dry them all off or scatter them around the barn to dry. So it's better to do that
Well,
on a
yeah,
dry day.
yeah.
But if we have
Although,
to,
they are outdoor boards, so I mean, they're the same stuff that's on the outside of the
I
barn.
know, I just don't
Yeah.
want to put a bunch of wet boards inside the cardboard boxes we
No,
store
I
them in.
wouldn't. I
But if-
agree that,
but
yeah,
if-
you're
But
right
if that's
there.
the case, we can just sort of lean them against the walls inside the barn to dry off for a few days or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
So Jim, when will you make the weather-related call regarding whether we work or not on Monday?
It's up to, right now, I checked this morning and it shows rain for Monday, but who knows this far out, it doesn't really mean anything, so it
Yeah.
really comes down to the weather report,
All right, I'll keep an
Okay.
eye on my messages then.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, everyone. Then let's, I'll entertain, it's now, what time is it? Okay, well, by the time we get our act together, it'll be 7:14. So
Motion to
entertain
adjourn.
going to entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, the next meeting. Sorry, forgot that. Just to confirm, it is the second Wednesday in, oh. The second Wednesday, I did write it down, didn't I, somewhere? Where did I write it down? Oh, I wrote it down here. Hang on, let me just scroll up.
The 8th.
There you are, Wednesday the 8th. There you go. There it is on screen. All right, so that's our next meeting. Then okay, it's now 7:15. Right? So it's 7:15 and I entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:15.
Motion to adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, so that was DB and DN. Okay, excellent, everyone. Well, I wish you all happy holidays, and in a minute, I will stop the recording.
We have to vote, we take a vote on the adjournment, I think.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we do. Oh, my goodness me. I almost pressed the button too soon. Okay, same thing. Vote, roll call vote. All right. All those in
Dean, aye.
favor?
Dave,
Okay.
aye.
Gloria,
no.
I. Yeah, sorry, I stepped on you, Alan.
Oh, this is okay.
Alan, I found that I.
Yeah, Alan, I.
Okay.
Yep,
Come on.
Alan.
Okay. Wow. Did we just about did that, didn't we? Okay, well done. So everyone have, obviously we're all going to see each other between now and the holidays, but here's the formal ending of the meeting and happy holidays. Stay well, right? If you're traveling, travel safely and all of that other good stuff. So now I'm going to stop screen sharing. Voila. And I am
Mhm.
now going to stop the recording. Pause. No, I want to stop recording and then it will all load onto my machine.